To my right.
Good morning. I'm Jeanette D. Wren. I'm the Transportation Planning Director here at PAG.
Hi, I'm Catherine Skinner. I'm the Transportation Director for Pima County.
Paul Casertano with Pima County Transportation.
Natalie Shep, Pima County Environmental Quality.
Good morning, Tony Bianchi. I'm the Planning and Environmental Services Director for Tucson Airport Authority.
Good morning, Andy Bemis, Deputy Director, City of Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility.
Jeremy Moore with ADOT.
Good morning, Adam Ledford, Program and Policy Manager with PAG.
Rick Ellis with PAG RTA.
Good morning, Jamie Brown with PAG RTA.
Good morning, James Tao, PAG RTA.
Sorry. Sorry. And we have Jennifer.
Jennifer Hobart, ADOT MPD.
Jennifer Flood.
Jennifer Flood, Town of Marana.
Nathan.
I'm Nathan Barrett. I'm here for the town of Sahuarita.
Okay, I think we got everybody. Anybody? Did I miss anybody? Josue. So are you there?
Hello.
I think you're muted.
Okay, sorry, I just had to transition over to the panelist. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's okay. Josue Licea, City of Tucson.
Okay, I think we got everybody. Again, welcome. Second item on the agenda, in-kind reporting. Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and federal dollars. If you're paid with federal dollars, please let us know. Time spent in preparation for this meeting will be estimated by PAG staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda and meeting materials. At the conclusion of this meeting, the session report will automatically calculate your time spent in this meeting. Time spent working on PAG RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching funds. I'm going to go ahead and pass around the sign-in sheet. Please make sure you sign in and pass it around to the next person. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Jeanette. Moving on to item number 3, approval of November 19, 2025 meeting summary. Again, this is an action item. Is there a motion on the floor? Motion on the floor. Thank you.
Second.
And we have a second. Any discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, review and approval of the 2025-2029 PAG Transportation Improvement Program, also known as the TIP Amendment number 30. Adam.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the TPC. Today, we're looking for a recommendation to approve formal amendment 2025.030. These are 2 City of Tucson projects, and it's just an STBG swap between program years of about $2 million, one into 27, one pulling back from 27 into 26. This is pretty straightforward, doing it at the request of City of Tucson. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adam. Any questions? Okay, this is an action item. Can I get a motion on the floor?
Move to approve.
Their motion? There's a second?
I'll second.
And we have a second. Okay, thank you. Any discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item number 5, the RTA delivery approach and cash flow assessment status. Rick.
I was going to say there's going to be several of us tag teaming on this, but I'll jump in and get started on it. At the November meeting, you remember we gave you a preview of kind of what we were going to be working on and how this effort was going to start unveiling over the next several weeks and months. Subsequent to that, we reached out, connected with several of the jurisdictions because the starting point of all this was the delivery timeframes and the associated dollar values with that for the whole program. We had done earlier efforts over the summer as part of our policy subcommittees, RTA formulation that focused on mainly the roadway item, but we wanted to add the categorical items, transit, basically fully flush this out as we build that particular cash flow assessment. So this past Monday, we mailed out to you from Sonia what we've compiled, what we have, what we've put together, and how we broke this all down with those funding allocations broken out based on those conversations. Or if we didn't get a chance to connect, as we said in the email, what we kind of took as our best judgment or utilized past conversations. So what we're looking for now is, and I recognize why, and I know it's a tough holiday push, but if we're able to get any kind of concurrence, comments, if you got any minor revisions you thought about since we talked, or you want to take a second look at this, if you can reach out to us, we'll be in the office all the way up through noon of next Wednesday. So we're available. If you want to send it on email, that's fine. If you want to reach out and call and just talk and we'll type, that's fine too. Because we want to have that in place as we start going forward into the January run of meetings as well. So that's the overview, the key items I wanted to share, and I'm going to bring it up just as a reference. But one item I did want to orient, it's on that one, but it's only on that one. I was going to say, hopefully everybody's got it on their screen or some way able to see it. One item I wanted to bring to your attention is because it did focus on the TPT only for this particular aspect of it. Our normal time frame protocol, this is easier said than done. So I'm going to zoom in on, for instance, the Houghton Road, segment 8, up at the north end on that. You'll notice that the TPT funding is in years 4 and 5 of that particular period. That's because there's a slug of regional funding that goes along with that in keeping with our protocol policies and practices, those funds would be drained first. So that's why it doesn't look like there's any activity, but those funding sources would then be paying for those design right away in initial construction. The only place where we changed that based on the conversations and discussions was when it came to the 5 interchanges on the state system. And we accelerated the RTA funding then to advance the activities on that and then let the RAC funding happen in the years that ADOT provided to us. So everything else follows normal protocol, but there would be exceptions for the 5 interchange projects. So wanted to call your attention as to why that may look different, or you may see that time frame and go, we would start that project much earlier. Yes, you would. We factored that in, other source. That'll be added as we go forward. So that was a quick orientation I wanted to provide. With that, Mr. Chair, can answer any questions, go into any extra information, share anything else as far as feedback that we return. Or like I said, reiterate that if you can confirm with us, we got the right game plan, we got the right basics, captured what you talked about, or any changes you want, we'd love to have them and provide that to us. Reach out. We'll make it work for whatever's easiest for you.
Thank you, Rick. Like Red said, this is an informational item. Any questions, comments?
Did you want to jump in with the next set or no?
Rick, I apologize. I haven't had time to actually dive really into this. Is this just the roadway element or is this categorical?
It's got all the categoricals as well. So as you probably saw in the email, and it's a big Excel spreadsheet, and we apologize for that. We tried to break down all these specific categories, previous versions that we had worked on at a higher clip level. Just rolled those all up, but we recognize that different jurisdictions were going to have different needs, different perspectives, or different desires for how they accelerate. So we tried to incorporate this as well. We did make some generalities in there, like I said, for ones that we just didn't get a connect in because we wanted to bring you a full product, but it does show the full granular level of detail for all the categorials.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Again, if there's no other questions, I guess we'll move on. Well, Catherine.
Thanks, Jose. I know this is step 1. It's only looking at TPT. Can you describe how it layers into doing the TIP? Because as Rick mentioned, some of these projects, there's other funding. My concern is always, do we have full funding on these projects? Because without full funding, a project doesn't get delivered.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you, Ms. Skinner, for that question. So we see several deliverables as connected to this. So one of them is the FY27 RTA budget. So we have to have a good game plan for FY27 pretty soon, in the next couple of months. We're also working on a project list that's financially constrained that will inform a fiscal year 27 TIP amendment that we would like to get moving as quickly as possible too. And so we want to bring that forward early next year. And ultimately that will lead into a fuller conversation through the committee process on the FY 2028, 2032 TIP development starting in the summer. So we are working on different templates to bring forward to this committee as soon as January that show, at least for element one, what the programming might look like and have conversations. I know one of the key conversations we're hearing or questions is which element one projects would need to be federalized in terms of if, assuming RTNX passes and we've got $237 million in the first 5 years of regional dollars, what can we do to minimize the projects that need to be federalized? So we're actually working through that internally. We've got a worksheet that's detailed that shows how we might be able to do a funding exchange with unprogrammed RTA 1, but we want to vet that internally and bring forward that in January. So we're going to bring all these pieces forward throughout the next several months. Does that help? Okay.
So regarding the federal projects, so we're talking about after 2031, because I'm assuming that all the regional federal funds are accounted for until 2030, right?
So my understanding of the RTA Next plan is that period one, there's an assumption of 5 years of SDBG and 5 years of HERF 12.6 as adding to as the non-RTA commitment for that. And so 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 5 years. So did I answer your question?
Yes.
Mr. Chair? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, so the current tip goes through 29. So you're saying it'd be 30 and 31 of those additional regional funds into RTA, and they're unprogrammed beyond that point, or uncommitted, I should say.
That's correct. And we already, if I may expand, so the 22nd Street Bridge project is already federalized, already has SDBG programmed through 2029. So, there may be advantages to maintaining that project as federalized, but maybe making some adjustments with the other funding sources. It's not, our 22nd Street Bridge is not one of these deferred projects though. So we can't put all the SDBG on that. So we're working through those details. We want to bring that forward to you in January, if that makes any sense. So that would leave 2 years, 30 and 31, where we'd need to find a project to federalize potentially. And yeah, so we've got ideas that we can share. I don't know if we want to get into it now, but
No,
we can.
but no, we're just looking just for clarification. And as far as the federal funds, you're talking about a new project, you're talking about the new projects on the RT next, if it passes. If it doesn't, we'll have a different conversation later.
Exactly.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Anybody online? I don't see any hands. Okay, well, sorry. Sorry.
Have you checked if how this tracks with revenue projections?
Are you speaking of the
By
project
year?
schedule?
Yeah, we have expenditures here and I assume they're constrained within projected collections.
Yeah, I can speak to that briefly. Yes, there is a piece that wasn't included here it's a work in progress that will show the balances and how it works out with fund balances at the beginning of each fiscal year, what kind of roll carry forward we show, and that'll inform the bonding need if necessary. That is not ready. It's a work in progress. So I think we're close on that, but that will be included in the final product.
Any more, Andy? Okay, thank you. All right, hearing no other questions, I guess we're done with this. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. And let's move on to item number 6, updates related to the Transportation Improvement Program TIP. Jamie.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. We have several informal updates to share related to the TIP. So the first one is on the Regional Transportation Alternatives Grants call for projects process. So I reported on that last month, just in terms of the applications received and the funding available. And the next step was to assemble a competitive selection panel of 3 members of the TPC that did not submit applications. And we just solidified that earlier this week. So we can now start to schedule meetings in January. So we'll be following up with those member agencies that submitted applications to convene that process. So tentatively, we're thinking the second and third weeks of January, we would identify for those meetings where we'd ask the applicants to present briefly on their projects. So again, we'll follow up, but that's moving along. The second update on the carbon reduction program funding, just a brief update on that. So Rick has been working with the member agencies that were awarded funding on the IGA amendments and the new IGA to bring those forward to the RTA board at the end of January. And anything more on that, Rick? Okay.
Appreciate the comments and the responses we've been getting on that. We'll follow up with it here in the next few days.
And then before I hand it over to Adam to talk about the off-system bridge, wanted to just mention that ADOT is working on a formal tip amendment and want to see if Jeremy and or Jennifer want to speak to that. They were thinking maybe it would be ready today, but it might be something that goes through the committee process in January, in which case it may go through the expedited process outlined in our tip policies and procedures. So it may first go to management, then TPC, then regional council. But it's kind of up in the air. There have been some changes with the RAC allocation, the amount available. So I know that they've been having to make some major adjustments to that. Jeremy or Jennifer, do you want to speak to that at all?
Sure. So essentially what we're trying to do is get the Alvernon to Valencia I-10 project into the program. And so we've already got some RTA 1 commitments at Alvernon to start the right-of-way and the design acquisitions. And so we've already been working with Rick and the team on that. And so we're just trying to completely fund that project through 28. So that way, when we end with Keynote Country Club, we can just roll into Alvernon to Valencia. So that's just taking a look at the RAC funds that came in. What I think it was in November, there was a little bit of a shortage in those funds. And so now we've got to go back and kind of readjust and take a look at like other projects and how we're going to balance things out. So that way we can move Alvernon to Valencia forward. So.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jeremy. And then I guess, Adam, if you don't mind providing a brief update on OSB, please.
Sure thing. Thanks, Jamie, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. As you know, ADOT issued a off-systems bridge funding call for projects. It is due December 31st. PAG submits those applications on behalf of the jurisdictions, and we're asking for those. Originally, I'd sent out an email and asked for those by today, end of day. We did have a request from one of the jurisdictions to have a little bit of an extension. So to be fair to everyone, we thought we would open that up a little bit. So new call for those applications before the 24th of this month. That'll still give us a little bit of time to make sure that we're looking out for them, that we've received them, and that we can pass them on with plenty of time to avoid any potential missing of that deadline with holiday travel and interesting schedules. So long story short, if you have that and need a little bit more time, we can receive that. Please do let me know if it's going to be later than today, but we can receive those up till the 24th and still get them processed and sent up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes our brief updates, but happy to take any questions from members of the committee.
Thank you. All right, informational item. Anybody? Questions? Comments? Anybody online? Looks like we're okay. Do have a question, Adam? So you're going to send out a notice to everybody about the extension of the application? Or
If
did
that
you
would
already
be
send it
helpful,
out?
I can follow that up with an email after this meeting.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. And let's see, Jeremy, so you're going to do a tip amendment. Do you have all the money for that Alvernon project identified? Yeah, so Alvernon to Valencia, we do have the funds for it. Again, I'm just going to have to make adjustments to other projects. So, we had like construction funded, in a certain fiscal year, and then design of another project in that same fiscal year. So what's going to happen is I'll have to take that design money and roll it up to the construction area. And then this project will just shift out another year and we'll start design a year later. So it will be funded. Yeah, Alvernon to Valencia will have enough funds for it. Yeah, great. Thanks. Well, there's no other questions. I guess we can move on to item number 7. Request future agenda items, announcements. Janet?
Steal that from you, Jose. All right. So in addition to adding our future agenda items back onto the agenda, we did go ahead and expand that a little bit to also include announcements. So you'll see on the agendas from here on out, it'll say future agenda items and announcements. And the idea there is to give all of you, as well as us PAG staff, an opportunity to just to share any announcements that might pertain to the business of our agencies or to the agency here at PAG. We will put out an email probably about a week ahead of time when we send the agenda out, just asking you guys if you have anything you'd like to share. We can put it in the agenda or send links out to everybody. But for instance, I'm going to go ahead and give the first announcement, and that's that the USDOT has opened the build grant application window, and the applications are due February 24th. So if you haven't seen the NOFO, let us know and we can get that to you. And if you need any assistance pulling information together, feel free to reach out to our staff and we'll see what we can do to help. But once again, that deadline is February 24th. And that's all I have for announcements. But if you guys have any future agenda items or announcements to share, it looks like Jamie has one.
Okay, thank you, Jet. Members of the committee. We do have a vacancy at PAG. We have a deputy executive director position. I believe the closing date is January 2nd for that. So if you're interested or know of folks who are interested, please look on our website for that with details. Dan, anything more on that? Okay, great. Thank you.
Natalie.
So the Pima County Department of Environmental Quality just recently completed our comprehensive climate action plan. It is up on a new website that we have. It's pima.gov/PimaCan. PimaCan is the name of all of our climate efforts that we have at Pima County now. And I will just say, I don't expect anybody to read this document all the way through. It could be, it's a little heavy, but transportation is the #1 source of greenhouse gas emissions in our region. And so I do think it is important now that we have numbers to things and we are looking into, I know PAG will be doing the next iteration of the greenhouse gas emissions inventory for the region next year as well, which was very helpful for us in this process, I will say. That we continue to stay focused on that topic. And I know there's a lot of plans for active transportation and those types of projects. And we do have several measures in there that we have prioritized for transportation, including increasing active transportation as well as dramatic increases that we would need in transitioning to EVs. And so, you know, the work we do in this committee is very related to that work. And so I do think it would be good to just try to instill that in all the work that we do and make sure that we're thinking about these measures and what we're attempting to do for our region over the next really 30 years, 25 years is what we're looking at to try to get to net zero by 2050.
Great. Thanks, Natalie. And we'll make sure that the link is in the meeting summary for today's meeting. Anybody else? Or anyone online? Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Moving on to item number 9, adjournment. We are hereby officially adjourned. Thank you. Some great.